Hi, hello. It's me, Mark Delacroix. Once again, live streaming on the internet on both twitch.tv and youtube.com. Hopefully my voice is audible and hopefully my voice is captioned. And it really does love capitalizing audible. Huh. I guess the Amazon corporate sponsors have gotten to uh, Google Translate. All right. Well, we'll get right into it. Basically, because this is a short week and it's a week coming off of basically a busy weekend for me and a bunch of people here on the Lorelink crew. We are just going to be, there we go, come back here. Basically, we're going to be going through and continuing to finish off our video gaming. We are going to basically the next couple of weeks we will basically be picking back up with Lorelink planning. So if you're interested to see Lorelink in action, next week we will be doing the 5th Ed campaign world Red Sky. I'm looking forward and leaning so I can see the book which is on my shelf over there. And then after that, we will be starting to plan out the September actual play, and we will be returning to the world of Fallout. Much to the excitement of the basically the Lorelink crew. They're excited to continue on that adventure as we get into some of the spookier parts of basically rad zombies and all that fun stuff start showing up. So it's appropriate for the month of September, which is, as far as I can tell now, the official start of spooky season. They just took over September. Christmas was starting to back into them, and so they just backed into September and took over the last bit of summer. Labor Day didn't put up much of a fight. And knowing basically, Columbus Day doesn't even exist really anymore. It's Indigenous People Day now, so, all right, let me bring in Tony. Tony should be audible.
No, I canceled that subscription a while ago.
No, I said you are audible, meaning the fact that you are, in fact, all of it. Basically, we're going to need you to step it up, and you're going to need to deliver a bunch of audiobooks. Did we forget to tell you that we'd taken over doing that, and we're now in charge of that? And basically, we don't really have a good digital delivery system in place, so you're just going to need to email a lot of people.
Yeah, marketing's the last person to always know this stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, marketing. You just play on social media all day. That's a free job. No psychological toll or distress involved at all.
Yeah, nothing at all. Which
resume job. Loading dirt. Right.
Loading.
Actually, I should probably keep the music on because this really doesn't have much in it. Co-op on. Confirm. Invite friend. Invited friend. Waiting for assistance.
I have accepted an invitation to play PowerWash Simulator. And I played it just a while ago, so it shouldn't. Nope, it's still having to download 2 megs. What the ever-loving heck?
Your PowerWash just loves talking to the internet. That's all there is to it. I think we've mostly got the front of this ship taken care of. It's all nice and clean. The back, well, not so much, but the front is nice and pretty. And I have been made aware that my rapid movements may be disorienting for some viewers, so I will attempt to minimize my jerking the camera around as much.
Stand in one spot, press C, clean the area, press C, move to another spot.
Detail. The Emperor would like you to know that the Emperor would like to stop vomiting. I mean, the difference between the Emperor and the Imperium and mods, I mean, corporate would like you to tell the difference between these two pictures.
There is no difference. They're the same.
Alright, so
So
continue
many little
on the saga
crevices.
of cleaning and power washing and removing stuff. Oops, that's the right button. Ew, look at that stuff just fly off the shelves. But, I spent this weekend at an anime convention, basically giving panels and talks on GMing.
Tell us all about it, Mark. We want to
Uh,
hear
I
all
will-
the details.
I am going to leave some of the details out, like which name and things like that, as I don't particularly need to air too much dirty laundry on the internet, on the corporate account. Suffice it to say that this particular place had a cosplay competition that was not professionally handled, and was lacking in many areas. And even as a non-participant, due to having to work on Lorelink stuff, I was still stuck waiting in line to see the competition for over an hour. And sadly, I know the fact that this meant that a lot of the customers who were also waiting basically had to deal with the fact that they were stuck waiting as well without proper seating or water.
In cosplay footwear.
In cosplay footwear and cosplay outfits. So, not the best. Additionally, this particular cosplay competition had decided to skimp out on their budget for lighting the stage. And so, as such, did not have any real stage lighting. They had to, LED light strips for lighting. If you are not aware, this is not enough to light a stage or costumers, especially costumers who may be wanting to show off details of a costume. And even if you're doing light strips, it is best to pick neutral colors, because cosplayers are a lot of colors. They come in many different colors. So you don't want to wash out any details by, say, choosing a very dramatic color, such as, say, bright red as one of your light themes. Not a great choice. All this to say, it is a bit messy of a presentation to, I'm slowly and did not treat the costumers with the respect that they should have earned for providing the con with a free source of entertainment and marketing and other things, as cons are often wont to do with costumers. They take lots of pictures during They take lots of video. The camera had a light on it, so the camera will have decent photos of the costumers, luckily. Of course, I don't know if there's any effort to actually give the costumers any of that footage, as the cosplay department has been fairly uncommunicative with the costumers. But, yes, it was, as I stated, not professionally run. It was... They are lucky that their gaps in understanding did not cause any serious harm to anyone, despite failing in multiple ways, such as not having ramps, which you may know that costumers come in all shapes, sizes, and variety, and costumes come in all shapes, sizes, and variety. So getting onto the stage may require a ramp sometimes. And if you don't provide one, then your costumers are forced to struggle with their costumes upstairs, which can often lead to injury. It did not, luckily.
Thankfully.
So...
Yes,
also,
and then I also heard they had the gall to have some of their top prizes be VIP tickets to next year, when, after the way the cosplayers were treated, there was no way that they were going to be coming back next year.
Correct. It is, there is a certain assumption that when you make that being one of your prizes, that you have put on something that makes that worthwhile. They had not. Also, not providing water or seating for costumers can be hazardous to their health, as some costumers are, I will admit, basically overzealous in their costumes, and so create costumes which do not give them the best ability to cool body heat, shall we say. Yes.
Regulate their temperature.
Regulate their temperatures. And costumers are... Basically, costumes take a lot of effort to get into and out of, and so they are... And sometimes they are difficult to do things like consume liquids in. So, sometimes dehydration is a sneaky little devil. So, sometimes they are not aware of the fact that they have dehydrated themselves until they go to stand up and, well, pass out. So, not providing water means that you are encouraging the cosplayers to give in to their thoughts of, I don't need to go get a drink. I don't need to mess up my makeup drinking a beverage, which is oftentimes one of the reasons why. They have a lot of awesome face makeup, and drinking can smudge that if they're not careful, or it hasn't been properly sealed. And you're raising the attack wing, I'm guessing, somewhere, because I'm just getting that weird sound effect in my background ears.
Yeah, it's weird. I keep forgetting you've actually got volume turned on.
Yes. I get the wonderful...
Normally I've got something on Spotify, and because the water sound is just... Yeah, after a while, just starts becoming really, really...
It's like being in a car wash or a rainstorm. It's vaguely soothing, and I hesitate the word to use ASMR, but an ASMR sort of way. But basically, yes, basically walking out, basically the problem with walking out is that basically customers also generally, when they've reached the point of entering a costume competition, have put a lot of work into their costumes. And they really want to show it off. And they really want to basically receive some validation, whether it be audience applause or awards of their costumes. And sometimes, so that's the, and also judging was separate from the competition. So if you'd already made it through judging, which had its own issues as well, your kind of sunk cost fallacy was going to set in. Guessing that the majority of the start is underneath. That's the wing. That's the engine. So, you reach the. It's only ASMR if it produces autonomous sensory meridian response. It's only champagne if it's
from the ASMR region of yeah.
Yes. You and I had this same thought. Otherwise it's just sparkling noise.
Sorry, I was at just repetitive sound. There you go.
Yeah.
I was in shock that I finally got the freaking wing mount cleaned. Lock X foils into attack position.
Yeah, they haven't done a Star Wars one yet. Guessing the licensing on that is a little expensive.
Well, I mean, I'm not seeing any other Disney stuff, so...
Yeah, they haven't done Disney.
Which does not mean we're not getting a Star Trek one.
A Star Trek one could be interesting. The problem is there would be huge... You have to deal with the huge fights over what you include and at what scale. Like, are you power washing the holodeck? That's vaguely creepy. Why do you need the power wash?
Which reminds me of rewatching Lower Decks as I've been on the treadmill every morning. It means I'm doing at least 25 minutes. Which, you know, for me, since I haven't done it in a while, that's keeps me from dying. And yeah, ran across the episode where cleaning the holodeck waste filters is a punishment job.
Yeah.
People don't actually do that in the holodeck. Oh, yes, Captain. Yes.
Not disturbing at all. Did see someone complaining the other day about that the technology levels in Star Trek are too advanced and therefore make it unrealistic. That a human society that had all of the technology that is shown in Star Trek would have evolved beyond, basically would be closer to the Q continuum than current civilization. That's an odd complaint, but, you know.
Go nuts, go for your clout where you can get it, I guess.
Yep. Can you say party? The best part is, 20, I can't tell if that comment is regarding regarding the person with problems about technology levels or about holodeck waste problems.
Hello. Yes. Haha, you got the all cap name.
I did.
For once it wasn't me.
It's been a long 4-day weekend.
I don't know. The excitement of my weekend was going hiking in the rain at Fort Benjamin Harrison State Park, stopping at Saraga to go grocery shopping,
Nice.
making halfway decent ramen last night, complete with figured out how to cook pork belly, never done that before.
Ooh.
And finally figured out how to soft boil an egg.
Nice. That sounds
And
indeed
got the
tasty.
approval of the kids that normally just eat, the 79-cent high sodium packet. Which, I mean, we kind of did because I couldn't find noodles in time, so I just cracked open 4 of those packets, but tossed all this.
Right. You basically, the noodles aren't the important part. I mean, they are important, but basically the sauce is the majority by volume. And the egg that's been steeped in the broth is also very important.
I got soft boil down. So next round we'll be doing the soaking it in the soy sauce and the mirin and going that route. But baby steps. I was doing a lot of firsts on that meal. I was not going to do it.
Yep.
I had enough anxiety. Did not need to add to it.
I did see a joke go by the other day about programmers like cooking because basically you just peel the carrots, chop the carrots, put them in the stew, and you have stew. Whereas basically, unlike with programming where you would have to you try to go to peel the carrots, discover that the peeler is 5 versions behind and no longer functions, and then when you update it, that they dropped support for carrots 3 versions ago.
It's funny because it's true. I'm a social media person and I know this. That's what happens when you have been friends with programmers for most of your adult life. Which is what happens when some of your first friends you meet on bulletin board systems online.
A lot of those people just started working with computers and we just kept working with computers. Computers wouldn't betray us. We were wrong. They did. There's more of this engine, which is... Oh, there's the part of the engine, which is dirty. Okay. Run, Tech Priest. Grab that ladder. Place that ladder. Up the ladder we go. That's the exhaust. That's not even the engine.
Just go ahead and run that up the ladder.
Run up the ladder, see if anyone salutes. If we do, we shoot them for being heretics. I think that's how that works here.
Sounds on brand.
Yeah. I see you too, brother, have also grabbed a ladder.
It says I have. But I do not see a ladder. There's my ladder.
Like, the little blue outlines indicate that a ladder has been, in fact, grasped by a tech priest somewhere.
Which is funny because I do not have a ladder anymore, and yet ladders are everywhere.
So many ladders. You bug the ladders out.
There we go.
Oh, new
I
new
hate
data
heights. Why
from
am I doing this part?
new data from private bulk. Unauthorized calm data recording. Battle of withheld. Suggested messenger B785. This is Private Bulk of the Penal Legions reporting for duty. I see the situation requires someone with scant regard for self-preservation. Thank goodness you're here, Private Bulk. I've commandeered Commissar Francis Ruggel Dorntank, and I intend to deliver it straight into that sniveling, redacted, heretical. Impact in 5 seconds. Mark my final words. Redacted, irrelevant. Well, we will never know his final words. Their final words? Pardon, sir.
I'm king of the world.
Being slowly shoved off this engine. Main engine wing exhaust.
Dog, there is nothing to bark at. It's a figment of your imagination. Go back to sleep. Actually, knowing the way my luck runs, let's make sure there's not another cop on the porch. Oh, big box on the porch.
Ooh. Surprise. It's your birthday or something.
I think it's more the Eagle Moss Star Trek ships that have people are trying to clearance out.
Ooh.
So I got like 7 of them for $40.
Wow. Yes.
Now we're talking about 7 of them, like random Klingon cruiser number 42, and
Everybody loves that guy.
the USS Curry, which I think was thrown together for the Dominion War Fleet. That's essentially a chopped up Excelsior, but
Wow. It's always great because you have like you have this huge fan base and their huge catalog of ships and types of ships and basically their roles and what they do and everything like that. And then on the other hand, you've got poor, overworked, underpaid model designers, both physical and now digital, who are like, we need a new ship. Cool. I'm just gonna make it look like this. How about this? Cool, looks good. Put it out there. And then the fan base explodes trying to figure out. Yep. Fan base explodes trying to figure out why there's a new version of an Excelsior class ship that is supposedly being used as a science vessel or something. Oh, I'm down here now.
Why did they add wings to the Enterprise B? It's an Excelsior class ship. Because they didn't want to hurt the original model when they killed Kirk. Boom. Spoilers. My apologies if I just spoiled a Star Trek film from the late 1900s.
It's always painful when you say it that way.
That's why I love saying it that way. There we go. There it is.
Yep. You got it. You're feeling underappreciated?
The brand is secure.
Ha.
The board does not
It's not that big of a spoiler for the show anyway. I mean, that's basically the scene you're referring to is the
opening of the...
Yeah, the first 5-10 minutes. Let me guess. Tuesday.
Poor Alan Rock. Had the opportunity to play a starship captain, and they made him play What If Cameron was a starship captain.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cool. Not cool. But I'm also the one that thinks it's a crime that they got Matthew Broderick to play Harold Hill in a version of The Music Man, and he sucked at it. How the hell did Ferris Bueller suck at playing Harold Hill?
I hadn't realized that he did that. Was that that Broadway or is that the TV movie?
It was one of the Disney made-for-TV movies. Like the Disney Sunday night movie sort of things. Back in the early 2000s. I missed it when it was released. I was working at the Disney store when I saw the commercials for it because it was always on their loop.
Huh.
But back when Netflix actually, had DVDs.
What?
Not Blu-ray, DVDs. I was actually able to get it through them and watched it, and it kind of hurt. I almost couldn't make it all the way through, and I really like The Music Man. As evidenced by the number of times I just randomly start, singing parts of it during calls and all that.
Music Man's a fun show. I mean, it's not the best, but it's fun.
No, it's fun. And
Yeah.
That's what I want out of my entertainment, is fun.
I did get a chance to see Hugh Jackman do Music Man on Broadway.
That I would not mind catching that.
Yeah, he is very definitely has a good time. Basically, he and Sutton Foster really had a good time bringing joy to that role. So, where is... There are lots of tiny spots on this engine, but I feel like there's got to be a big spot I'm missing. Which is time to consult the what do you consider the engine button?
Music Man was the first musical 20 was ever in. For me, it was Godspell. The first, last, and only musical our school did.
Godspell is too controversial, huh?
Yeah.
Let's hit that. Let's play it that way.
Yes, I've actually got a one of the albums in one of the vinyl record frames above the record player because Liz and I were both in it.
Ha.
Once Upon a Mattress was supposed to be the next one we did, and then the teacher that was in charge of it quit and went to a different school.
Oh. I was actually not a theater kid in high school. There's a lot of overlap amongst the upper basically I hesitate the honor roll, we'll call it that. That actually did theater. So I heard a lot of the theater stories, but never actually did any of the theater. It's probably for the best. I don't have a good singing voice.
Yeah, he like tore the book apart a little bit, like gave me speaking roles where he wanted a bad impression of something being done. And then when it was time to sing, I was mainly in groups and told to mainly move my mouth. I was not offended. I knew my limitations.
Where is this last bit of dirt hiding? Oh, wait, is that it? It's you, isn't it?
And you see, it wasn't just him saying, why don't you just, be in the group and mainly move your mouth. It was an agreement. After I practiced, and I still could not hit outside of a very small range.
You have this music teacher 20 has entered the chat.
Yes. Which I saw that, which is why I am jumping to.
You're trying to defend your
former teachers.
teacher.
I almost slipped and said a name, and I don't want to do that, even though it's been 30 odd years. But yeah, no, jumping to his defense. No, it was a mutual thing.
Interestingly enough, there is a connection between, to change the subject to avoid 20 exploding, connection between Music Man and Once Upon a Mattress, which is currently on Broadway. The revival of Once Upon a Mattress is being led by Sutton Foster, who most recently also played the librarian, Madam Librarian, Marion the Librarian.
Yep.
I'm forgetting names.
Madam Librarian, Marion.
On Broadway opposite Hugh Jackman. Yes, it is. Well, basically, Once Upon a Mattress is on our list. Basically, if we make it back to New York this year to go catch. Along with Stuff's Stereophonic, which isn't a musical, but a play about music. And related to the stream, 20-Sided Tavern, which is a off-Broadway improvisational D&D comedy play, where they basically...
Is it a live play?
It's a live play. Essentially, it's a improvisational actual play. They basically they were originally they were off Broadway, and then they managed to get somebody at Hasbro's attention and managed to get sponsored for the move to off Broadway. So sounds like it'll be fun. Looking forward to catching that as well. Suffs is also supposed to be good. Stereophonic is, of course, won a bunch of awards. Won a bunch of Tonys, to be precise. I don't know if there's anything else.
I'm going to go see a high school version of The Addams Family. So, my nephew is a theater kid at Mount Vernon.
Speaking of, if you are in Indianapolis, the IRT, Indiana Repertory Theater, is putting on the Putnam County Spelling Bee. If you're interested in that musical. They're also putting on Play That Goes Wrong, which I am really looking forward to seeing. That is I really love Play That Goes Wrong, and IRT has some really great comedic actors in them, so I'm looking forward to seeing them pull that off.
I was hoping to bring a cat to see Peter Pan Goes Wrong when I was out in California last summer, but
oh yeah, the original cast was out there.
Yeah, with everything going on, going to see a show was low on the list.
Understandable. It was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. Basically, that group is a very entertaining group. Mischief Theater. They are an excellent. They have basically really good comedic chops. Are very good improvisational comedians, and basically, actually, one of the things they did as a kind of a lark on, oh hey, we are improvisational comedy. This that D&D thing is big. They're doing a podcast called Hello High Rollers, which is them doing essentially improvisational D&D for a actual play podcast, and it is quite funny. Highly recommended. It also basically is a great way if you're wanting to learn more about GMing and situations like that. It is great to listen to a group of highly skilled improvisers basically do it, so that you can basically get ideas on how to react when your party just throws you for a loop or pulls stuff out of nowhere, and how to create things on the fly, because they are very good at doing that. So it's very good watching them and picking up like, oh hey, this is how you can react, this is how you can keep things rolling and moving, how you can deal with situations, how you can basically provide depth, basically give depth to other characters without basically necessarily sidelighting other characters. Like they just recently had a thing where they did a dive into one of the characters' backstories, and so they just had the other actors play basically a couple of minor NPCs in that character's backstory. So the game kept going. They were all playing, but you get more of their backstory, but still included everyone at the table, which is a cool way of doing it.
Yeah, it means people aren't sitting there starting to lose track of the game on their phones.
Yep. Which, by the way, just as a basically random, this guy did put together for that convention that we went to this last weekend, I did run several panels on tabletop games. One was a panel on basically how to pick a tabletop RPG, kind of an overview of multiple different kinds of RPGs which are out there, and what basically mechanics that they have, and what might work best for your group and situations to pick certain types of games versus others. I also had a panel on how to GM, basically an introduction to GMing, not a full, basically it was only an hour, so there's only so much you can get into, but pretty much it went over basically starting from picking your games, starting your planning, doing a session 0 with your players, playing the game, and then wrapping up afterwards.
Did you touch on it is no longer the 90s? This is not Hackmastered. It's not you versus the players.
Yes, that is in fact one of the first slides. Is basically well the name game is in it. It no longer winning is not just your players killing everything, or you killing all the players. Basically, much like a video game, if you just turned the video game on and it said you win or you died, neither one, basically, is a good game. How do I get the other side? Oh, that's interesting. We'll figure that out. But there is a... There we go. Beautiful. Basically, winning is going to be based on giving your players a reason to feel like they have won. Basically, achieving some goal. Basically, and it's going to vary from game to game. Some games winning may be as simple as defeating a particular monster at the end of the campaign. In some games, it's going to be surviving. In other games, it's going to be dying, but having accomplished something. Such as... What? Did I tell you to put that letter there? I don't think I did. Stop that.
Ladders have been really wonky in this game.
Yeah, I'm like, I want the ladder there. It's like, no. Like, okay. But, so, winning may be basically more of a, basically for a Call of Cthulhu game, for example, winning could just be delaying the inevitable for a few more years. The old gods will return eventually, but at least not on your watch today.
Yeah.
Sure, you may be stuck in the same...
That'll be a problem for future Tony.
Yep. Current character might be stuck in the sane asylum, but you've accomplished your goal. At least that particular cultist won't have succeeded. They won't be able to reap the spoils of their horrible deeds. It also talks about things like how to deal with failure from your players, aka how to deal with basically a player who's just having a really bad day and can't roll worth anything. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with the fact when your dice have gone off and decided that it's going to basically kill all the players? Or the other way around. The players' dice are really hot and your dice are absolutely terrible. Basically, fudging the dice, basically, or not fudging the dice. Okay, this missile is done. Okay. This missile is not done. Okay.
For the record, I am team is okay to fudge the dice as long as it helps the story along.
Basically, the answer I gave is basically whether or not you choose to roll in the open, or basically you never fudge the dice, or You always basically you fudge the dice slightly to try to make a better story. You have to have some tool in your toolkit that will allow you to deal with the vagaries of probability. Basically, you have to deal with the fact that sometimes the story you're trying to tell, the dice aren't working for. You either need to adjust the story you're telling, you need to basically come up with the reasons why why a failure isn't impeding the player's way, or may give them guidance on how to get a success in the future. Or maybe just the fact that maybe the monster stumbled or fell or tripped or basically whatever it was. Maybe you have set the difficulty too high and your players are suffering because of it. You need to be able to take that responsibility. That is your job as the GM to deal with. And if you're not willing to do that, then, I mean, you are no better than an AI. Your players aren't there to... They're not playing a video game. They're not there just to accept the result that were given to them and then take whatever spit out and throw other things at it. They are looking for the human element of creativity that will otherwise help impact the game, adjust to things happening, reflect their successes and failures into a living story. However, whatever form that takes. And as 20 has pointed out, if you want to see us running through a Cthulhu game or running through various different types of games, which will have different types of results, you can check out our systems page. Where you also will find out.
I do need to get that updated this week.
There are the other one I gave is good at basically I gave the system selection, which talks about how to select a system, figure out what type of game you want to play with your group, how the choice of system will affect your gameplay. And then also I gave a brief history on Japanese, because it was an anime convention, so kind of obligatory. Japanese tabletop games. And basically their history, which ended up being basically really interesting once I dug into it. Because it is a different story, a different order of events than what happened here in the United States, with actual plays becoming much more popular much sooner over there than they did here, and actually leading to some fairly significant events in how did I get you rotated sideways? How do I fix that?
R.
Thank you.
Took me a second to figure out what you're talking about when you said, how do I get that rotated sideways? It's like, oh, R.
Why are things...
Rotate.
Yes. Crazy idea. Basically, the history is much different because things ended up over there in a different order. They got CRPGs before they got tabletop RPGs. So a lot of their views on what a role-playing game is influenced by CRPGs like Ultima and Wizardry, and then Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. And even D&D came over differently over there. As the version that got translated primarily wasn't the first edition, but instead was basic and expert, which were these reduced, slimmed down rule sets, and as such were those became kind of the touchstones for how people viewed D&D and fantasy role-playing games in general, was through the mindset of those. Which one of these? This one is still basically those games, rather than basically the other way around. TTRPGs happening first and then being interpreted through CRPGs. And there's also a fun little side story about how a cute Japanese anime girl brought Call of Cthulhu to Japan. But that one you have to see the presentation for. Which is that to say, if you happen to know of a convention going on in your area that you would like Lurlink to show up and present said materials at, drop us a contact via our contact page, which is, I think, via Get Started. Is probably the best link for that one.
Get Started is a good place.
Yeah, there you go. I know I got some requests.
So kind of going off of a whole Americanized Japanese role-playing game thing, did I see something about a Voltron Legendary Defender role-playing game at Gen Con?
Yes, there was one. You're going to ask for details, and I'm going to tell you.
No,
there
I
was
figure
one.
If you had details, you would have immediately started going into it because you knew that would be the next question I asked. So.
I unfortunately don't remember exactly.
It's all good.
How do I get there?
It's like I think I got who it was, but there's no information yet on release.
I don't think it's the same people who are doing most of the Hasbro properties. G.I. Joe, Power Rangers. G.I. Joe, Power Rangers, and
Transformers?
Transformers, yes. And My Little Pony. My Little Pony. All of those were in one particular. Basically, they're in one universe. I believe Voltron is a different one.
Yes, the friend of mine that you might have met when you over at the Modifius booth, they worked on My Little Pony.
Ah, nice.
Which, by the way, did you just go ahead and keep that, or were you able to return it?
Which?
The second edition source book.
For
Star Trek.
Oh, I kept it. I have it.
Okay.
I figured I would have it for future use at some point. It is technically the only 2D20 book I own, so it will serve as an example of that in my collection.
You're dropping me the messages as I was playing the let me out game from the back of the vendor hall.
You were stuck. You were inside the dealer exhibit hall, and you were not in fact. They were not in fact trapped there in there with you. You were in fact trapped in there with them.
Correct. Oh, and I hated it.
We're at 92% complete. We have 28 minutes. I think we can finish it.
It'd be nice if I could figure out which part of this rear armor I was missing. But no, I figure, since I do help with that Voltron convention every year, that might be something worth
Looking into.
figuring out.
What is that Voltron convention? That's October or November?
That's October. October. It's boltcon.org, I believe, is the website. And it is on a calendar, which I can access from my phone.
I thought you were going to turn around and consult your physical calendar. Old school.
No, in fact, I need to get that. No, that is on September now. No, that's the bill calendar. So 25th through the 27th. So it's the same weekend as Irvington, Halloween, and Raleigh Doctoberfest, and
I'm not currently doing anything for Oktoberfest, and I'm less likely to do so for reasons.
yes, we will not get into those. For I am the problem. It is me.
Okay, I've got just tiny bits of this thing left. Come on. I just cleaned the light. Okay, good. Glad I got the light cleaned. Alright, all this. That's the main wing. Alright. There is dirt somewhere. The bolters are both clear, but the armor on the bolters is not clear. I'm going to steal the giant scaffolding. Maybe that will help.
Go for it. Go for it.
Assuming I can place it
Which,
somewhere.
by the way, if you don't remember, you can rotate it using X and Z.
We'll see if there's any legitimate way to place it anywhere near where I want it to be placed. There we go.
Like I said, if you use the X and Z to rotate it a bit, that helps normally a ton.
Yeah. We'll see if this angle works. I just need to get slightly high. There we go. Look at that. Listen to those chimes just going right off. I think that clears everything out there. Up one more layer. Then try to clear the next thing. It's amazing how you can just put water right on the dirt and it doesn't just come off. I mean, somewhat realistic. I have noted that it feels like the special missions are much nicer than the main campaign in terms of requiring amounts of basically like requiring heavy duty, basically the upgraded cleaners and other such things like detergents and things like that in order to actually cut through dirt in a timely fashion. You could speak more to that because you've actually done the campaign.
I've noticed these have a lot more nooks and crannies, which I've been finding rather annoying. Like even the final level of the main campaign was not this much of a pain in the arse. It was just really big. Whereas this thing has so many different
parts and nooks and crannies, yeah,
crevices and bits and bobs and all like, look at this stuff, isn't it neat? ship have so many dingle hoppers?
Mm-hmm. Dealy boppers and whatchamacallits and thingamabobs.
Oh, you crazy pit bulls.
By definition.
I don't know what I'm doing to bait you into yelling at me this time, 20. This time I'm actually clueless.
What did you do? What did you do?
Oh, was it the coming close to referencing Little Mermaid? Okay. Yeah. See, for once that was not my. For once, that seriously was not my intent. Normally, you'll know when I'm intending to do it because I'll actually, do my poor rendition of singing something. There we go.
Come on, you're not that big of a thing. You literally don't have that much surface area. Oh, there it is. That wasn't it? Why wasn't that it? Ah.
And I'm out of strawberry fizzy water.
Okay, there is nothing left of you. What are you complaining about? I'd like to lift the tack wing. There we go. Fine. There. What is the last bit of this thing that I'm missing? Must be underneath. I'm not seeing anything obvious. Up here.
Woo.
Oh, hi, Pretzel. Pretzel silly starting to put some woes into my no lyrics music track. Thank you. If you need attention, sir, you could seek assistance. They're not lyrics, they're just vocalization. Technically correct, but...
Which is the best type of correct?
That's what I've been told. Where is this last... There it is. Main wing cleared. Thank goodness. Oof. Alright, let's deal with the attack wing. Actually, I can clear off down here. all sorts of vents and crud and other things just down here, hanging out, being messy. How dare. Undersigned ventilator, huh? Alright. So I guess the good question for you, Tony, is you live in an area known for its Halloween festivals.
And not once have I been able to go.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
I mean, getting parking is hard, even.
I live a mile down the road. If I don't want to walk, I can catch the 8, like 3 stops, and I'm there.
I was trying to help you. But, when do you decorate for Halloween?
I live in a neighborhood where if you set stuff up, it'll get broken or walked off with, so not often. Trying to figure out, because my kiddo loves decorating for Halloween. In fact, that's one of the things that's really heard about the events of this summer was him, and his grandmother were already making plans on decorating her place for Halloween.
Nice,
so
nice.
That's one of the things that really hurt. Out of many things, but one of them.
yeah.
But so yeah, it's like we're talking about seeing what we might be able to do that if something happens to it, we're not out too much. Which might end up being, like carving our own headstones out of styrofoam or something. Which, that sounds like, oh, well, that'd probably be even worse than, somebody breaking store-bought. But honestly, part of the fun is making it.
You make it, you take pictures of it. Yeah.
Something happens to it, we can take what we learned and do it better next time.
Pretzel has decided to move my EDM into Caribbean Callisto mix. Interesting. I'm now playing Super Mario Sunshine.
Drunk.
There's a reference of a game that didn't make it that far outside of its console. I mean, it's a known game, but not well. Not quite as beloved as Super Mario Galaxy.
Which one came out when the Switch came out?
Odyssey.
See, that came with my Switch when I bought it. But I bought my Switch for Animal Crossing.
Yes. Many people did. Especially during a certain year.
Yeah. And I have 3 of the little SD card cartridges that Switch uses. One is that, one is the Pokemon Arceus, or however you pronounce it, Legends game, which, playing with my kiddo. And then one, I've got Animal Crossing, I've got that, and I've got Mario, and Mario has never been inside the unit.
Oh.
It has never been inside my Switch.
I played some.
Today I was using the Switch to try to, keep my mind off of other things today, and I played Untitled Goose Game and Animal Crossing for the first time in 4 months. Still didn't put Mario in.
I mean, Untitled Goose Game is just a good way of being a menace when you just want to be a menace to society. without actually serving jail time.
While drinking your juice in the hood.
Yes, while drinking your juice. Mm. 96%. Almost there.
Hey,
No, it feels like that
we
last
started at
percent.
69.
Nice. It feels like that last percent is going to be a pain, given just how many nooks and crannies this thing has.
See, up until I ended up on the top of the wing, I was hitting all the like 99%.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, where's that last bit? Where is it?
Yep, yep. There is a bit of dirt somewhere. Luckily, it's not like usually a tiny spot that's missing. It's basically it's a decent sized patch.
Forgiving.
Yeah.
It's like you've got one of those nooks or crannies that's got a side that you didn't hit. That's
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It doesn't basically. It'll clean up the little tiny specks for you because the game wants to be playable.
It'll go. Bless your heart, you tried.
Yeah, you did try at least.
You did your best.
Here.
Good going, champ.
That was
juice box.
That is one of the small problems with that convention that happened over the weekend. One of their minor insults, as it were, was that the end of the convention, they called everyone back up on stage to receive a special trophy. A special participation trophy for everyone who didn't actually win. They all got a participation trophy. Which did go over well, shall we say.
Well, it sounds like probably went over like a lead balloon.
Uh-huh. Especially at the end of everything else. A "you were here" trophy is a bit rude.
Did it say, I went through all this train wreck and all I got was this lousy trophy?
No, but I'm sure there are people custom engraving that as we speak. Or hopefully they're melting them down and putting them to the best use a cosplayer has, which is including them in a better costume for another con.
Melting them down and turning it into filament for the 3D printer because you know those trophies are plastic.
Mm-hmm.
You had to know. You had to have known I was going to bring this up during the stream. By the way.
Oh yeah. I am fine talking about it. Just I'm not going to give names or call things out because, well, I can't call names out because literally I don't have any names to call out because that was one of the mysterious things about this convention. Was that the people involved in running it kept themselves well and truly anonymous, which is a pretty amazing fact to pull off when you're doing something which involves actual live stage presence. But they pulled it off.
What can they say? It's a gift.
Yeah. They certainly can't say you're welcome. I mean, they probably would, but that's a different Disney song for 20 to get stuck in their head.
I was going to respect 20. I was not going to say it.
I figured we traded off back and
I was
forth.
really wanting to.
We have broken their spirit down to the point of just sighs heavily.
Reminds me, Reminds me of a friend of mine that is very small, but their size is immense. Their words, by the way, not mine. Even though I'm the one that normally causes the sigh to happen.
I can't imagine that you might cause someone to sigh. How strange. It is a mystery how these things can happen.
I fairly regularly get the "I love you," which is more the reminder as to why they're not killing me, as opposed to the term of affection.
The reminder, this is the only thing still keeping you alive. If this ever changes, you're on a list.
Y'all assume that didn't automatically leap into my mind with just that minimal reference. Well, hey, what can I say?
Wow. Doubling down. And you have reinvoked it. There you go.
I regret nothing.
You will when you get stuck moderating alone for the next 5-6 streams. Either that or the first action that 20 will take upon entering the next actual play Fallout campaign is to just shoot your character.
Oh no, are you threatening me with getting off of work early?
Please don't
Are you
ban.
threatening me with more
Please
time
don't
with my
ban
family?
20 to 2020. We don't have a great subscriber count at this point. We can't afford to lose that many. We're just a small stream trying our hardest.
Fine. Every time I see Attack Wing, I think, wasn't that a Star Trek miniature game?
Was it? It was basically it was a tabletop game. Attack Wing, I think. Was that the Star Wars one?
20, could you do a check for us?
I think that
See
was
if
the
it was
Star
Star
Wars
Trek or
one.
Star Wars it did. I thought it was Star Trek because it sounded
Maybe.
really weird for a Star Trek thing. Because yeah, Attack Wing sounds more like a X-Wing type game. Yep, WizKids.
It was Star Trek. Well, congrats.
Yeah, I've got some, like, I think part of the starships I've got on the shelf above me is
Part of that.
Hero Clicks or Attack Wing or something like that. Because it's like little micro machine sized ships with little click dials on the bottom of them. Thank you, 20.
We're at 99%. We are at 6:30. Like, I'm trying to clear this engine. But we haven't got the
I'm working
checklist
on the
yet,
bottom of the wing.
which worries me. Okay, this isn't good enough to get that, is it? Okay. Maybe this is it. Got it. All right. That's done. That's done as a little bit. That's done now.
Did you just drop the wing?
I did not, at least not intentionally. Alright, what do we have left? Main wing engine turbines. Where are those? Any clue game. Ah, there they are. Okay. These are easy. Okay. What else? No, the turbines are still main engine turbine. Oh, you. Okay. How are you not? Yep. Okay. Don't have the one on the other side. I see. There we go. Those are done.
Right behind you, the tip of the cannon on the side. If you hit tab, you can see almost right by your feet to your right. Bunch of yellow. It's just out of range for me.
Got it. That is clean. Where are you complaining about? You feel you are dirty, Cannon. Tell me of your uncleanness, that I may cleanse it Cleanse this impurity from you. Etc. Etc.
Hey, X.
Hey, X. Come to watch us complete this. Soon. Very soon. Shortly.
Any moment now.
Any moment. I don't know.
Stay on target. I
Don't
can't
know.
shake him. Stay on target.
Turn your target indicator off. Oh, there it is. There we go. Pull up, pull up. Side vent armor. Side vent armor? Side vent armor. There. Oop. Yeah. Yeah, I'm stuck. Side vent armor. Done. Underside armor. Ah. There we go. Underside armor. Underside vent. Really? You. How are you? Okay. You seem to have some complaints. I will address your complaint in the order it was received. It's just the vent.
Nothing but the vents.
It's probably... There we go. I had to jump. One of the las cannons. Las cannon. Not you. The one on the attack wing you're
Right
working
what
on,
I'm
maybe?
working on right now.
Yep. Done.
There we go.
Nicely done. Canard wingtips. Again, probably on the main attack wing. Canard wingtips?
Is it Don Kennard?
Don Carnage. Wait, no, that's Tailspin.
Was it Carnage? I thought it was Kennard. Okay.
Or
No,
from
that's what I was
Tailspin.
thinking was Tailspin.
Yeah, Don Carnage. I think it was Don Carnage. I want to say it was Don Carnage. Do not shoot at will. Here's my
Also,
first mate.
also was on the reboot of DuckTales a few years ago.
Yeah. They kind of stole from all the other series and brought stuff in,
It was
which was fun. That was me lowering that. I did not need to.
okay.
Let me bring that
No,
back up. There you go. All
no,
right.
she just helped me get the mount.
All right. Where is the that? Ooh, look at you. You're just all dirty right there.
There are these wings up here.
Which ones? Oh, all the way up front. Got it.
Canard wings.
No, I see them.
Yeah.
Got it. Nice. I need to pull this entire wing off. Hey!
Yes!
Nicely done. Job complete.
I had to crouch underneath it.
Yep, yep. And you just hit it just at the same time as I managed to finally clear off the last bit on the attack wing. Now, all right, let's just destroy
No,
this.
that was
slowly...
me going under the attack wing.
Oh, you were underneath it. Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Slowly working front to back on this. Woo. Earned $475 for that. I don't know what tech priests do with money, but we've got them. All right. Chat at the Exalted Crusader initiated. Engineer a heroic Thunderhawk gunship of the Adeptus Astartes chapter. Designated player has returned from. Okay, this is just the stuff in the last message. There we go. Chant of the Exalted Crusader complete. Postmortem. Full access has been restored to the Thunderhawk gunship. Archmagos, named declassification level X563, has confirmed the viability of the restricted artifact H002.012, and it is to be transported to the Forge Temple of Olympus Mons for further analysis. Strategic Estimator B785 has been overrun with redacted heretical. The withdrawal of recoverable units is complete. Non-recoverable units are probably dead. And this planet is scheduled for imminent protocol classified Y234289. Nuke it from orbit, the only way to be sure. Intel, owing to risks of redacted heretical, upon your remaining biologica, you will undergo Promethea Protocol 7Z3454123. Addendum. Know, however, engineer, that your role in the operation was of critical importance. And indeed, the administrative calculation estimates that your sanctification prowess increased the probability of success by as much as 0.007. Praise the Omniscience. The whole 0.007, Tony. We did it.
Right. I made dirty vehicle clean.
That you did. That you did. And that is the last one. We have cleaned we have done what the Empire has required of us and cleaned the dirty stuff. All right.
Now I have to go through them all again on my own account to get caught up.
You do. But at least on your account, you'll have some of the nicer stuff, I guess.
Nope.
Oh, never mind.
That does not carry over to this. I checked.
Oh, rude. Well then, that would be the other reason why it's not as thick dirt, but still more nooks and crannies. All right, so thank you very much, Tony, for joining me. Thank you for taking time to help clean off some vehicles and discuss all sorts of things. And suddenly I get moved by a wingtip or something. And basically, for those of you who have been watching, thank you for watching. And basically, thank you for enjoying. Thank you, of course, to our wonderful mod for putting up with us and not banning us from our own stream. And basically, those of you who are interested in what we are doing, we are LoreLink. basically, first of all, we are a campaign management tool. That is our primary functions. Why we do stuff like Warhammer 40K and old D&D games and things like that is because we're interested in all aspects of the D&D, basically TTRPG space, whether it be games, video games, tools, and other things like that, because they all are useful and helpful in helping a GM prepare. Um, and basically for the fans, basically our tool is there to help GMs and DMs and all storytellers and basically campaign planners of all sorts and types, basically to help better plan their campaigns out, to help you, much like cleaning off all the details. There are a lot of nitty-gritty details sometimes in building a campaign out, and sometimes those details can get lost in the shuffle, and you've got something, some note, some basically some particular piece of lore buried deep somewhere and you can't find it, but LoreLink lets you attach, basically link your lore together to make it much easier to find, so you can track down, oh, that's right, I know where that blacksmith was that I created in that one-off conversation because I attached it to this town, or I attached it to the event, or I attached it to the session. All of those things are possible in LoreLink in order to basically help you manage your campaign better and both plan it out better and run it better at the table. That said, if you're interested, LoreLink is available for free at the World tier. Basically, our base tier is currently available for free. You can get by going to our website. If you go to the link that pops up in chat, go to the Get Started page, and basically create an account. In the application, you will be created an account at the base world tier, which gives you 2 free campaigns and a majority of features. There are only a few features which are currently restricted only for higher paid tiers. Player sharing will be one of those. Hotspots on maps and templates are current 2 ones which are currently in there. But by no means do those prevent you from trying it out and getting a good idea of what LoreLink can help you with. That said, if you're interested in what we're doing here and you want to see more of LoreLink in action, the actual application, rather than just us playing video games, come back here next week where I will be planning out the game Red Sky. And you basically using the LoreLink to do so. And then after that, we'll be doing 2 planning sessions of the Fallout RPG from Modifius, the 2D20 system. And then on the last Friday of the month, I want to say it's the last Friday, I'm fairly certain of that, we will be playing Fallout. Basically with the LoreLink players, and basically you can see LoreLink in action as I use it to run through the campaign oh, yes, correct. And 20 reminds me that next Monday, if you want to see LoreLink in use over a large-scale campaign, basically you can check out Mike's stream on Monday. Next Monday, where he will continue his basically plotting out of Quest for the Frozen Flame in the LoreLink. So, if you enjoyed what we've done here, basically feel free to drop a follow to find out when streams go live. If you happen to want to say, hey, I really like it, I want to encourage you to keep doing this, drop us as a subscription. You can even do it for free if you happen to have an Amazon gaming subscription. It is the first of the month, which means for a lot of people, your Amazon Prime, basically Twitch sub has rolled over, and you have to re-give it away because it does not continue. So if you wish to gift us one of those, we will gratefully accept Jeff Bezos' money and your appreciation. If you're watching this on YouTube, or if you want to catch this video, basically if you only caught part of it, if you want to catch previous games that we've done or planned, you can go to our YouTube channel where we stream, basically where all of our streams, basically since late last year, have been archived. And you also have tutorials and other things available for you there. Lastly, if you want to follow us and see what we're doing and what we're doing, basically planning features-wise and other communications, you can check us out on our Blue Sky, our Instagram, and our Facebook accounts. Basically, all of those are, basically, if you're involved in the social medias, we post on there regularly, thanks to Tony, our social media manager, who is basically in this call. And last, if you want to avoid any and all basically social media and rather just have somebody summarize what we're doing in a month. Basically, we have a newsletter which will give you, comes out once a month, basically pretty almost basically once, maybe twice a month. If we're doing something basically very exciting, we'll send a second email out, but for the most part you'll just get one, and that summarizes everything that's happening and basically gets delivered directly to your email and lets you avoid having to deal with basically social media, a fact that some of us wish we could do. So all that to say, thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you all later. Say goodbye, Tony.
Goodbye, Tony.
Perfect. No notes.